Okay, so we're going to do another example of applying the quadratic formula to solve a quadratic. As you can see here, we have our quadratic x squared minus 16x minus 36, and I have typed up here the quadratic formula. This is something that needs to be memorized. It will not be given to you on a quiz or a test. So real quick, first thing that we're going to do is we're going to, and you don't have to do this for your work, but I'm just going to do it for the video. We know that a is equal to 1 because the coefficient in front of x squared is 1. We know that b is equal to negative 16, and we know c is equal to negative 36. Real quick, just a bit of review. This guy is our y-intercept, just saying, so get a little bit of review in this video. Now let's go ahead and just apply our quadratic formula. We know our x is going to equal a negative or opposite of negative 16 plus or minus the square root of negative 16 squared. Let me clean that up a little bit. Minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is a negative 36. All divided by 2 times 1. Okay, so we need to make sure that we're careful with order of operations. One, we're going to square this first, negative 16 squared, so that's going to turn into a positive value. We have a negative out in front. These guys need to be multiplied first before we start to subtract, and a negative times a negative is a positive. So please be careful when you're working with this formula that we make sure that we're applying the appropriate positives and negatives. So negative next to negative is positive. So 16 plus or minus 16 squared is 256. Probably use a calculator for this next one. It's going to be a positive 144, and that is all divided by 2. Okay, so now we've got the inside of the radical somewhat simplified. And we're going to go ahead and add 256 and 144 together, and we get 400. Now let's put that x equal to back in there. All divided by 2. And we should know that the square root of 400 is 20. I would recommend, if you have a calculator test and you're not sure, just make sure that you are double checking that. And so we have 16 plus or minus 20 divided by 2. A little bit of a trick here because we have 3 terms that all have something in common. We can go ahead and reduce because they all divide by 2. So that's the same as 8 plus or minus 10. Makes the problem a little bit easier to work with. If you don't like doing that, you can just do the 16 plus 20 divided by 2, 16 minus 20 divided by 2. But when we look at this guy right here, we quickly can see 8 plus 10 is x is going to be equal to 18, and 8 minus 10, x is equal to negative 2. And those are our 2 solutions solving using the quadratic formula.